SaaS is all the rage in India, fintech is all the rage in India. So a question that I have is that when you look at an economy where there's a lot of talk about startups in fintech, SaaS, etc., how does building products in healthcare really differ in terms of effort, output, and success? Because you see all the outliers being promoted a lot in multiple publications from SaaS and fintech, but very rarely do you see the kind of breakthroughs that come in the healthcare space as far as technology is concerned. So, can you talk about what are some unspoken complexities that you have to deal with in building products in the healthcare space?
Absolutely. So, one of the highest resistance to technology adoption that you can see is in the healthcare setup. One of the reasons that comes through is traditionally healthcare is a very sort of people expect it to be fail safe, people expect it to be available all the time. And I believe there's a huge mismatch in the thought leaders in the healthcare space and the technical space. The two worlds seem to be looking in completely divergent directions. While people talk a lot about the capabilities of artificial intelligence to mine things and get things done in healthcare space, if you look at fundamental things like the user interfaces which are being used in hospitals, they still seem to be coming from age-old era. And so that's one of the major issues. Now, why that issue? Perhaps it's easier to start things and kill them in other spaces compared to healthcare. If you start using something, there is a need to maintain that data for a long period of time because it has implications on what happens in future. Now, many people either don't have the comfort with their providers or they've had bad experiences where they started using something and it didn't really translate into a long-term gain. And that's why adoption is a major challenge. People still continue to use what was working 10 years back and live with suboptimal systems rather than open up and experiment with what is fresh and new. The third and the most important problem is, in medicine, it is extremely important to prove outcomes. So any drug we take, any lab investigation we take, it goes through a scientific review process and it proves its worth, and that's when it is introduced to the market. It is a more conservative space as an industry itself. Now, what we have experienced is that a lot of technology that is being created in the space comes with a lot of promise, but very little evidence supporting it. And there is a mismatch in terms of the scientific rigor to prove the capabilities and outcome that you are promising to the customer. So these are all different challenges that healthcare industry faces. Of course, the fourth one is, I believe there is still a long way to go for our doctors to accept and realize that technology is an assistant, a very capable assistant available to them. Even in the best of hospitals in the country, you'll find that the doctor is using the system minimally. They mostly have a data manager or an assistant who's doing the job on the computer. So it's a one-way traffic. Basically, instead of paper, you are giving instructions through a data manager. But then where is the whole benefit of that system giving you feedback and allowing you to titrate things? So that is another challenge.